Time out, they must be quite confident.
And that, but obviously the last thing at this point in the season, we had some really close runs yesterday, Cardiff, Oakland's, and I just you can't take anything for granted. So I think Gladiators will be looking to build on that today.
And if we look at the Lions team, who's the one player that maybe stands out that we should be looking for today?
I think Spinks obviously leading the league in minutes at the moment and averaging just over 9 points a game, almost 4 assists, 4 rebounds a game. I think she's going to be really important. However, I think she's a tough task coming up against whether it's Matteo Dominguez, whether it's Robin Lewis coming, it's Kerry McGee. We've seen that rotation coming through at that point guard's position. She'll have a tough day at the office, but she's had that all season. And she's really grown in her role, and that's been great to see.
Yeah. So before the game, Rona caught up with both coaches, and we'll hear from that now.
I'm joined by assistant coach Donnie McDonald. Donnie, obviously playoffs are on everybody's minds at the moment. Are you looking to push towards having home court advantage with those?
Of course, it's a big thing for us to get the home court advantage. Playing in front of our own crowd makes a big difference to our performance. So we're going to do everything we can to finish in that top half of the league.
Excellent. And also, how do you just feel the season's gone so far?
We had the high of the trophy. We've had some challenging results. We've had Europe. It's been a long, difficult season, but I think we've really grown as a team, and we're coming into some of our best basketball right now, so we can keep everybody healthy. I think we're in a really good place.
And I think that's a key thing, isn't it? And what about it's Mother's Day? Any messages for any of the mums that might be out there are up in the stands today?
Well, happy Mother's Day to you, Rona.
Oh, it's like I led you into that, Donnie. Thank you.
Yeah, just obviously happy Mother's Day to everyone at home watching, everyone in the stands. It's a big family club, so we hopefully everyone has a great day.
Thank you. Good luck today. I'm joined courtside by head coach Dan Petts. Firstly, Dan, a return to the amphitheatre, but this time in the women's team. How does it feel being back?
It's good to be back. Lots of good memories here, some bad ones as well, but mainly good ones. Some good to see some friends from here, and some nostalgia as well.
Lovely. And in this sort of second round of games, the Lions, and with you taking over the helm, sort of more midway through the season, the gaps are closing. Is that pleasing for you?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the objective when I took on the role. Improve the players, improve the team as much as possible, and that's the way the way we've been tackling every game and every practice. It's not always easy. There's ups and downs, but as overall, I think we made some steps in a good direction.
And you've sort of mentioned the ups and downs. When I caught up with Donnie, I was talking about injuries with your team today. Is that going to make things more challenging for you?
Yeah, it's been like the last months has been kind of a revolving theme for us. We've got 2 players out long term, which are important players for us, and then we've got a couple of other players that are struggling with some niggly injuries. Some players that are playing today that are struggling with one thing or another. We're in March, starting April, so it's normal for a lot of them, but it certainly has its effect, yeah.
It most definitely does, and there has been so many positives for the team, although they are still winless. What are you most pleased with as coach?
I'm pleased that they've stuck with the plan of what we set out to do, which is improve them, and wherever they go next, whether they stay with us next year or they go on to something else, they're a better player because of it. So I think that's probably what I'll be most happy with.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time and good luck today.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to Rona for doing those pre-games interviews. Both coaches in quite good spirits.
They do seem to be, and I think that's what you have to do, isn't it? Whatever happened in your previous game, you have to just let it go, and you need to go out, you need to suit up, and you need to play what's in front of you.
And obviously the Lions come into this game, they average 53 points per game. They allow 88 points a game. They're bottom in the league in those stats. Is this a game where, when you look at the Gladiators, they probably had a similar opposition in Nottingham a couple of weeks ago? Do we expect to see players like Emma Kerr, Alex McIntosh, Kerry McGee get a good run out to really push themselves?
I think you will, but I also think, Kerry, Alex especially, we've seen their minutes growing regardless of the game, and especially we've seen Tia Adams out injured, Hannah Robb out injured, so these players have had to step in and get the minutes. Emma Kerr potentially see more of her today, but also teams are now building for playoffs. They want to be able to be down the stretch, have players step up, and sometimes you need that time in games to be cohesive and to gel together. Gladiators are going to go away to Leicester next week. When Leicester last visited here, they took the win. That's not anything they can just go and take for granted. And like I say, every game, you're only as good as the game you are on court.
And I suppose that big game next week against Leicester will be a bit of redemption for the Gladiators, because let's be honest, that day Leicester were fantastic. They blew the Gladiators away. So it's up to the Gladiators to go down there and try and get a big win to try and balance out that league series.
It is, and that'll be the first of 2 games that they are going to be away, down to Leicester, then to Essex. And also, but on the London side, they're then going to be at home to Essex, and they are chasing that first win. You can see they're closing the gaps in various areas. When I spoke to, assistant coach Michael Hansen-Morris earlier in the week, he was sort of saying, they're disappointed with their performance, their previous performance against the Riders. How are they going to bounce back from it? People maybe don't have the same expectations on this London team this year, but they certainly do, and they will as players. They want to get out there, they want to get that win on the board.
And so we're almost just 3 minutes away from the game beginning. And Rona, we look at this season at all, it's always, I always feel with the women's game, it's so start-stop, but we've got a big run of games coming up as we head towards the playoffs.
We do, and that was something I was actually thinking about yesterday. The teams only meet each other home and away. On the men's side, we've obviously seen them, they meet each other 4 times, and we've seen a lot of the gaps and the swings and wins being quite, entertaining in the season. I'm just like, if there was maybe that 3rd game, what would then be the difference? Would actually teams reclaim, convincing wins, or could we see a few more games where it swings from the win to the loss column and vice versa? So, but at the same time, they know their fixture, they know their schedule. You got to go out and you got to treat every game like it's the game you got to win.
And if we look from the Gladiators' point of view, we look at someone like Rhea Harris. She's come in, made such a massive difference. Is this a game where we get to see a bit more of her, but also she seems the player that could be ready for the playoffs?
I do, and I think we talk about Rhea Harris coming in a bit later, but then we look across the league, teams were bringing in players as recently as a few weeks ago, so in a way they're very comfortable now within this league, within this setup and team. It was obviously a big loss losing Maya Price, but then you're bringing someone else in. Gladiators have had their trophy success this season, but they'll be wanting to put on a good run in this playoffs, I'm sure, because I think they'll be annoyed at themselves and where they potentially are sitting currently in that championship standing.
And the Gladiators have been without at times in recent weeks. Tia Adams have been without, as you said. Hannah Robb, we're not sure if she'll play tonight, but is this where opportunities come in? But also the Gladiators will be hoping to get those players back as the playoffs do approach.
Yeah, and I think on the flip side down at London's end, they've just lost players who are looking long term. When are you going to get that back in? And that's sport, isn't it? That's why you want to build a squad. You can't ever just rely on those 2, 3, 4 players. And when the league goes on, as long as it has, you've got to be able to bleed people in, lose people, have people come back in. I mean, we don't know exactly the loads that people are putting on in training, so they're having to balance that as well. There's always so many things going on, isn't there?
Absolutely. So let's have a look at your starting lineups for tonight. For the visiting Lions, they start with Zier, Esbrand, Spinks, Awunzi and Tralin. And then for the Gladiators, the home side, they start with Robin Lewis, Mathilde Monge, Delaney Byrne, Kat Truder and Kirsty Brown. Your referees today are crew chief Nick Nassie, and his 2 umpires are Christopher Curl and Alan Charakanathu.
And interestingly, Macy Spinks for London Lions has started every game she's played for them, whereas on the flip side, the Gladiators, they haven't had a player who's played in all their games who has actually started. So again, rotations through lineups and various other things come into play there.
Loads of different storylines to unfold. A big game ahead here at Play Sport in East Kilbride. The teams are coming out to the floor and we'll be underway any second now. And as usual at Play Sport Rona, we've got the ceremonial tip. I always see if I was that person, I think I'd be incredibly nervous.
You don't know, maybe this is their professional job?
It does. Asking for advice on how to throw right now.
Do you think in whatever workplace it is, usually it's a sponsor, so I'm assuming like a work environment, do you think they all get a wee turn and see who throws the paper into the trash can the best? Try not to be so American there.
I know, it's so bad. But yeah, the teams are both coming on the floor. The Gladiators in their home blue and it's the Lions in the orange with the black trim. Quite a smart looking kit actually.
I like it. It's giving me more tiger than lion, but I like it. I've been doing a lot of animals with my soon-to-be 2-year-old.
What's her favourite animal?
Duck.
Wow.
Loves a duck. Loves a quack. That was a good ceremony.
That was a good one. That was one of the better ones.
Jake Kirsty thought you get to keep the ball to catch it.
Imagine that was the thing. They'd end up with quite a lot of them. So the referees are ready, the table looks ready, the players are on court ready to go. And we are almost underway here as the visiting Lions are in town to take on the Caledonia Gladiators. A good crowd in here for Mother's Day, and we're off and going. As the Lions get the ball moving around. Charlene turns it over mid-court. Will the Gladiators reclaim it? They do. Delaney Byrne with the ball in hand to Demonge. As he looked to go inside early on. Kirsty Brown to Mathilde Demonge. Doesn't get the first one to go, but it's Kirsty Brown with the rebound. Late clock, Kirsty Brown with a mid-range pull-up, and she gets it to go. A good start to Kirsty Brown's game.
That was nice and really good decision-making both times with that sort of fast break and then the offensive board to not rush the next shot. Take their time, they get a basket.
Lions trying to get the ball down the floor really quick to Winsey, who Mathilde Demonge steps in. Apologies for the lack of graphics right now. We'll keep you up to date with the score. It's 2-0 to the Gladiators, 9 minutes 12 on the clock. Can the Lions get it? And they do, under the basket, and it goes. Great play off the inbound from Macy Spinks to Winsey. Foul called. Nick Nassie, Lions player, accepts the call. Just to stop as Demonge looked to have the step on her. Ball's inbound, Demonge steps up for three and it drops. Demonge looking to be more of a scorer here as the season approaches crunch time.
Yeah, she's almost up to a 30% scorer from three-point line. I feel that's something we've really seen from her this second half of the season. It's going to help stretch the defense.
Robin Lewis really putting pressure on. Kirsty Brown staying with Tralin as she went to the basket. As Kirsty Brown takes the ball down the court. As they look to find inside Kirsty Brown against Tralin. Double team comes, triple team comes as she sneaks round the side, doesn't go.
It's a really smart defensive play there by Spinks, making sure she's switched off, and that's what caused Brown the issues there when backing down.
Esbrand backing down Tudor. She passes out to Zier, high arcing shot, doesn't go, and Delaney Byrne takes the rebound nice and high. And it's end-to-end stuff to start this game. Delaney Byrne with the rebound. Cleanly blocked out of bounds and stayed a Gladiators ball. We've seen that now twice, that play where they play it into Kirsty Brown and it's quickly dished off to Mathilde Demonge, but not got that to go yet, Rona.
They haven't. I think, you know, they're getting good looks, but more pleasingly, I'd say, if you were coach Chantel Handy, would be crashing those O-boards, keeping possession.
Gladiators struggling to get the ball inbound. They get Tudor in the corner for her three. Doesn't go. Bow for the rebounds. And it'll stay with Gladiators as Delaney Byrne deflects it off Zier. And then if you're right there, Chantel Handy will be happy with how the ball is bouncing so far. The remainder of the score, it's 5-2, 7:51 on the clock. Byrne gets in, does she? It is, but it's dislodged again by Zier. And that's something the Gladiators need to tidy up.
It will be. Again, though, good defensive work by Lions, not allowing any easy cuts.
Changing the play, can they get the ball in? It looks like to Kirsty Brown. Gets it to go. The defender there looking for the 3 seconds, but she forgot to defend Kirsty Brown.
I was about to say that's probably meant to give her up space.
Zier right the way down the floor, blocked by Byrne, stays in bounds, and Demonge gathers it. The ball's bouncing around, and it ends up with Spinks on the Lions. Winsey driving against Delaney Byrne. Runs straight into the hip of Kat Tudor there, comes up limping. But Robin Lewis to the basket, decides to pass it out. And Byrne gets the 3 to drop. The Gladiators ball movement coming in to the floor there, and it's the Lions who take an early timeout as the score is 10-2. 7 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock. Ronan, if you're the Gladiators, you're quite happy with that quick start.
I think you are, yeah. And, you know, Delaney Byrne back in that starting lineup. Only 3 games started so far this season, but really makes her impact from that 3-point line. Again, second half of the season, I feel like we've seen a lot more of her being busy on the inside, so good for her to get out and get that knocked down.
And is that a case where she came in here as one of the few rookie imports? She's just taking a bit of time to find her feet as we head into the second part of the season. She seems settled, seemed happy, into the starting lineup and making a difference.
Yep, and that's all you can do is you've got to find your feet so quickly as a player, you know. We've seen that, you know, teams are bringing players, we're losing players, and she's managed to do that and make her stamp on this team, and I think she's just now going to be putting both of those outside and inside games together.
The buzzer goes, both teams will return to the floor. 10-2 here at Play Sport, where the hot start for the Gladiators. A couple of threes going down, and that's what I suppose the Gladiators have maybe struggled with at times, hitting down these open shots.
They have, and it just depends. I think actually London are doing a really nice job at the moment at closing down the inside threat. They know Gladiators can punish teams when they get down in that post, and they're doing that. And if that forces Gladiators to have to put up these shots, then make them make the shot.
Lions need an inbounder. Ball gets inbound. And it's in Nazir's hand. Quick pass down court. That seems to be an early strategy for the Lions to get the Gladiators' defence turning. Coach Pett issuing instructions from the side. Kanzir driving inside. Traleen for 2 for the mid-range. Nice shot, gets the ball to drop. 10-4 here. Extra pass out, Byrne looks for the open shirt. Emma Kerr just on the floor for 3, and it drops! An early touch for Emma Kerr, and she knocks down her first points of the game. With Mathilde Demonge being ever present, putting pressure on him as we see 4 subs checking in for the Gladiators. And that's maybe the difference in the teams when you look at the strength and depth.
It is, and having the luxury, I think it is, to being able to put 4 on, take 4 off. And I guess that answers your question, Grant. Will we see more of players who we maybe don't see as much of in Emma Kerr? And there she is, off the bench.
Off the bench, catches the ball, scores. Just trying to get the ball inbounds. It's into the aforementioned Emma Kerr and back to Kerry McGee. Ree Harris battling for the rebound off the missed 3 there. But a good look there again for Emma Kerr. Abunzi gets round Emma Kerr, and it's a great finish inside.
I like how Coach Handy's gone with these balances with the Gladiators as well. The experience you're going to back up there for Kerr and McGee.
Yeah. Kerr fouled, and we'll go to the line for 2, and that's now the 3rd, maybe 4th time we've seen that play with the 2 different 5s that have been on the floor. It's obviously something they've been targeting.
It is, and you know, McGee will get a reward at the line. Maybe looked a little bit surprised when the ball came back to her as quickly as it does, but if it's open, you're giving it.
Kerry McGee, 62% for the season from the 3-throw line. And she comes up short with the first. But makes the second as it swishes through the net. 14-6, 5 minutes 50 on the clock. And the full court press is on as Estonia International, Tia Adams putting real lot of pressure on the Lions defenders. Can they get it across the mid-court line? And they don't. That's another 8-second call. And Rona, we saw similar traits in the Nottingham game.
We did, and you could see both Coach Handy and McDonald on the bench there were delighted with that, and that's back-to-back. And when you're a London player, that's going to be tough. They're going to need to get it in a bit quicker, maybe keep the ball off the floor and move it.
McGee receives a handoff from Emma Kerr. She dribbles into trouble as the Lions pick it up through Esperand. She drives against Kerry McGee. She looks to go coast to coast round McCarrican, throws it out, deflected I think off McCarrican.
And that's how you can beat a press. Don't let the other team score, then they don't have an opportunity to set it up. And I like that. I like the tenacity of getting her head down, getting herself to the hoop.
Turnover in mid-court by the Lions as it goes over the half-court line. A messy possession off what looked, as you said, Rona, a good way of breaking down the full-court press.
And this London Lions team as well themselves, very young lineup out there. You know, players looking like they're committing to going over to America next year, players that have just returned from there. So they'll have a lot of learning, and that's what they've been doing this season.
Emma Kerr receives the ball. They look to try and find Rhee Harris inside. She's quickly double-teamed. Someone's open somewhere. Fouled as she goes up. As Helen Charlene picks up her first foul of the game.
I like the way Espan was there though. She was out trying to guard on the wing and then she was getting herself inside to throw Rhee Harris off there.
Emma Kerr checks out and Alex McIntosh comes into the game. A good cameo so far there for Emma Kerr for sure. Harris knocks down the first. 61% for the season she has from the free-throw line. Misses the second, but rebound gathered by the Lions and it's in the hands of Spinks. The help comes from McCarrigan on Spinks. McGee battling hard as she forces the turnover mid-court again for the Lions. And that's just the tenacity that we're seeing from the Gladiators early on.
It is, and Spinks did such a good job of keeping the ball alive. The length of McGarrigan jumping out on that hard hedge, and then it just wasn't quite there for MJ. She needed to just give herself a little bit more space, maybe a little bump off McGarrigan to push her back and give her a bit more room.
And you see the way that Coach Petts is communicating with his teammates there, like just teaching the way through, the telling Spinks how to keep that dribble alive. Hand off to McCarrigan under the basket. And she gets to the drop. The ever experienced great pass by Tia Adams to see her open there.
Some nice basketball, real nice diamond dish.
Spinks against McGee. Harris with the high hedge, trapping the Lions player, and it's a turnover. Sorry, it's an outbound play off the McCarrigan intercept.
And sometimes in that Gladiators defense, that's where they do get beaten. They hedge hard, and then there's nobody in that next line, but McGarrigan identifies that, comes across.
High hedge, yeah, both officials call that foul called on Rhee Harris. Just a little bit late hedging out there. (17-6). Gladiators lead by 11, 4 minutes and 19 seconds on the game clock. Esan drives inside against McIntosh, comes up short. And she really hustles for that ball there. Can McIntosh get it over? She finds her teammate in McGee. Establishing Rhee Harris close to the basket. Will she back down? She finds Tia Adams open for three. Overcooks the shot, and it's a Lions rebound. Good look though for the Gladiators.
Adams is open, got to shoot that.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to pass that shot. Trailing, under the basket there. Help doesn't come. Foul called as Esbrand escaped the looks of the Gladiators, and she'll go to the free-throw line.
Yeah, really nice work there. You know, London bringing the ball over, keeping it alive, and then just finding that nice cut underneath. Gladiators caught napping.
It's just that switch off, but it's got the Lions to the line. Esbrand, she goes from 62% from the free-throw line. Both teams controlling the fouls so far. That's just the Gladiators' second foul of the game as Esbrand knocks down the first one. The Lions on 3 team fouls themselves. knocks down the second.
And in games like this, you have to make it count when you do get the line. So great work there by Esperance.
Establishing Harris with the left hand. Does she gets it to go? And the Gladiators coming in with a clear game plan to get it inside to the bigs. Great battle between McGee and Spinkson, pulling the ball up the court. Almost another turnover as the ball's close to bouncing on the half-court line. And Spinks gets the floating two to drop. Quick transition down the floor. Great steal in hands from the lines. I think McIntosh had 2 or 3 swipes there before the call was called.
I think just down courtside you can see Coach Handy's maybe just questioning that there. And I think very lucky there by Espan because she'd kind of given up on the play there with the ball, and you know, that could have been another turnover. Experience of Trillian, you know, having a seat at the moment. I wonder how that will alter the lines on their offensive and defensive ends.
Yeah, the experience of playing across like the NBL in England, they're coming and playing a lot more SLB kind of level. That kind of veteran and experience in general just helps this young team. Garrigan close in. Battle inside. Who's got the ball here? It belongs to the Gladiators. McCarrick in mid-range, pulls up, gets the 2 to go, and the Gladiators up to 21 points. Spinks mid-range. Does she get a reply? She doesn't. Who's getting the rebound? Ball goes out of bounds. Lions ball.
And I think what was really smart there by the Lions players was they both hustled down that ball. McGarrigan was doing a good job of watching her player, but then somebody in the Gladiators on 3, Harris, didn't quite box her man out, and that's where they've come in and managed to keep the ball in their possession.
I've been quite liking what Lions have done off their inbound play so far. Will they get an open look here again? Battle for the ball, and McCarrigan gets it. Under the basket, and that's McCarrigan's bread and butter there, Rhoda.
It is, and just using her length to really exploit that pass as she comes over again, but nice dish by Spinks there, finally open.
Gets it over half court just in time. Spinks looking for help a lot of time, but good spin move to drive inside. Overcooks it, battle for the rebound, and it's with the Gladiators as Kenny McGee pushes the tempo. McIntosh cutting to the basket. Tough foul as she goes to the hoop, but she'll go to the 3-throw line for 2.
I am here for Esperan's athleticism. She is everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, she's putting up a fight on the defensive end for the Lions. And that's, however, her second foul of the quarter, and she'll need to sit down after that. McIntosh to open up her account for the game. Gets the first to drop. McIntosh only 67% from the 3-throw line this season. I was about to say makes both, but doesn't get the second one to go.
You commentated that out the basket there.
I commentated that out the basket, absolutely. Fast pass across the court. Awunsi kind of losing her balance there, knocked out of bounds by McCarrigan.
I'm glad I'm not being charged a pound every time I say McGarrigan in length, because that was her length there again, wasn't it? Just getting her hands up and
just
extended.
Getting herself in the right place over and over again is what she's kind of made her whole career out of. Arun Beja gathers the ball from inbound off to MJ. Battle of McCarrigan, and it's in the hands of Spinks. Spinks now got her third different player up against her early on. Beja, late clock as the Gladiators defence forced the 24-second violation. As Delaney Byrne checks back in for McCarrican off the bench, 6 points on her game so far. Lewis, McIntosh. Edison on her corner, does she get there? It does. Fakes the shot, pulls back, looking for help. She gets Kirsty Brown round this defensive pressure. It doesn't go, gathers a rebound, left hand this time. Bobbles round, doesn't drop. And Delaney Byrne says, well, I'll just catch her and put it in myself.
Way to stay with the play though by Brown.
Essen with the ball. Looking for help now, under pressure. Beja. And it's in the hand of Spinks. You can see why Spinks is the leading minutes in the league. She really controls this Lions team. Having to go on her own there, doesn't get the shot to drop. And Delaney Byrne almost forgot to bounce the ball there. Late clock, Emma Kerr for 3. Short, but she's going to have it as the clock expires, and it drops. And the Gladiators bench stands to appreciate Emma Kerr staying with the play, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter. The Gladiators lead 28-10, and if you're Coach Chantal Handy, you must be absolutely delighted.
You are, and props to Emma Kerr there. That's one of my favourite sorts of baskets, when you give yourself the O board as well.
And if, Rona, we have a quick look at some of the stats as this quarter comes to an end. The Lions only attempted 1-3 so far. They look to get themselves playing fast downhill, getting to the basket.
They do, and you can see, you know, when they stop and limit the Gladiators scoring at their end, they're able to really get the ball down the floor. It is going to be a tough day at the office for Spinks out there. They know that this hard hedge coverage is going to come, and you've seen she's had some really nice finds. And it's just going to be about those players off those rolls, finding themselves the space and making themselves that threat.
And across on the Gladiators, they've taken 20 shots and shooting over 50%. If they're going to do that for their full game, it's going to be a tough night for the Lions.
It is, and I think that's what you've got to do though. You've got to come out, you've got to put your stamp on this game. Last time Gladiators out against London at London, you know, it became a very convincing score. Gladiators turned it on the second half, but the first half, London and Gladiators, they were going toe to toe.
Both teams about to return to the floor as we've got Minimus showing her moves in centre court now.
Is it a Minimus or a Maximus household
That's
that you've got?
definitely Minimus.
No, but as in your household, who's the favourite?
It's a Minimus.
Is that a Minimus?
It's a Minimus. Have you got a favourite in yours? Are you a bit both?
She's not at that age to understand. It's not a duck.
It's not a duck.
It's not a duck.
Not a duck.
Come back to me in a couple of years.
Both teams turning to the floor. The ball belongs to the Gladiators. Kirsty Brown just realised that, having been told numerous times by Robin Lewis. And it'll be Emma Kerr inbounding the ball. The score, a reminder of the score, 28-10 as we start this second quarter. It's the Lions in orange to the Gladiators in the blue. As Kat Tudor comes back on the floor. Robin Lewis looking to open up the key. Dishes it out to Kat Tudor, who looks to move off Kirsty Brown. Beja, is she able to guard the GB International? And she does a great job gathering that rebound. Elizabeth Essen, ball in hand. Lions with Spinks off the ball now, trying to generate some shot. Kirsty Brown out, but it's open underneath the basket. And it's a turnover by the Lions.
I think MJ just needs to take, you know, a big breath. The last couple of plays, the ball's come to her. It's been a little bit of a hot potato.
Yep.
But
a panic there.
yeah, I'm sure she'll grow into the game.
Lions shot. Beja just jumping up and down under the basket. They're wide open.
There's nothing worse than being open like that. And you're like, I just need someone to see me, but you want to shout too loud or else the defender will come as well.
Brown gets the dribble on the baseline, looking for a bit of space, and she gets it to go. Another 2 points for Kirsty Brown.
Good by her there, because she's missed a couple of those up and unders off 1 foot, but made sure she stayed square and went up off 2 feet. Gets rewarded for it.
Lions get it across half court just in time. On their own, Beja for 2. She gets the offensive rebound and she puts it in. Nice play. Kirsty Brown deep in the key. Hook shot comes over. Battle for the board. And it ends up with the Lions. Arunze looking for some sort of support. She's not really got any other options right now. Ends up investing. Spinks, cross court, open. Will she take the three? She does. High arcing shot, and it goes. Good looking shot for the Lions.
That's one Kerr got there, but could have probably been a little bit earlier. Just locked down that shot.
Gladiators really trying to establish that inside presence with the big so far. Byrne out to Emma Kerr. Throws it to Delaney Byrne. Drives to the basket with left hand, and it she goes. She just had to step on MJ there. Ball's handed off to Essen there. Guest pass, Tudor to the basket. Tough finish and one. Great play by the Lions there as they look to cut down the lead here at the start of the second quarter.
You can almost see Essen's there, and she's like, thank goodness. You know, and that can be somehow it feels in a game where you just need a couple to go in for you. Confidence goes up. London stringing together a couple of good offences here.
57% as Essen from the free throw line as referee Chris Girl goes to the table. And knocks down the extra shot. 32-18. The Lions trail by 14. Robin Lewis driving through the key, backs out, looking for some support. Delaney Byrne now with the ball. She looks to back down the defender, looking for help, throws up the shot, gets her own board. Left-handed finish again, and Delaney Byrne making a big impact. She's up to 9 points now.
And they're keeping that old board stat ticking over there, Grant.
Open run to the basket. Will Kirsty Brown comes to the help. And that's one of those ones, like, the indecision as you drive to the basket there. You build that head of speed. Are you better just going up even though the defender's coming?
Think you go stop and pop, or you stop and step?
I just felt she had too much of a head of speed there. The pass always had to be perfect, or it was always going to be off, as Zier wasn't able to convert in that great break in the attack to get past the first layer of the Gladiators' defence. DeMonge and McGee back on the floor, as is Taya Adams. And it's good seeing Taya Adams back on the floor after a couple of games out after the international window.
It definitely is, and she can be a key player for this Gladiators team, so you want to have all your players available as often as possible.
Brown to DeMonge, looking for one more. She trips up, but somehow keeps the ball alive. Handy to Byrne, and there's a battle over the back. And that is going to be, I think, Zier. And that's going to be her second personal foul for the Lions. That's one she probably didn't need to chase.
No, I think it can be so tempting though when you've got a slightly taller player and you can see it and you try and get round. So it's an unfortunate one, but
Byrne catch and shoot from the wing for three, doesn't go. And look at the head of speed the Lions are. They're confident driving to the basket, high off the backboard, doesn't go. DeMonge gathers the rebound. Cross court pass to McGee. Ball swinging around. Delaney Byrne doesn't think twice, but shooting the three, doesn't get it to go. And Chantel Handy turns to the table, asks for a timeout. Game's opening up, getting a bit loose. Pass, Esbrand, Delaney Byrne pushed out of bounds, but gathers the ball, and Kirsty Brown with the whole of East Kilbride open for the layup, gets it to go, and she'll be delighted with that. Gladiators get the trap on. Kenny McGee battling hard for the ball, and then we've got a 5-second call. Not something we see very often here in the SLB.
and I think great defensive pressure there by McGee, and it's just when you pick the ball up in that situation and you're still not very deep at all into your own front court, you know you're asking for trouble.
And you've not only got that, you've got the sideline, you've got the half-court line, you've got a defender there, you've not really got the options.
You've got the music, you've got the lights, you've got everything.
You've got Rona and Grant on the course. Anything can happen. And yeah, happy Mother's Day again. They just put a sign up and look at that. Highlighting the wonderful mums we all have here in basketball. So happy Mother's Day to everyone listening as well. We get 6 minutes on the clock remaining of the half. The Gladiators lead by 18, 36 to 18. And if you're the Gladiators, Delaney Byrne lighting up with 9 points, but I think Coach Handy there wasn't happy about that quick three at the end there.
We have no idea what they're wanting to look at there. Other times you'd say that's a great open look for Byrne, but they're potentially wanting to eat up some clock. There's maybe a couple of things they're wanting to look at. They'll have specific things they're supposed to be doing out there, and I would assume that was not one of the specific things they were looking for.
Players returning to the floor for the Gladiators and the lines as well.
And London coming out, still over 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes to play in this quarter. They only put up 10 in the opening quarter, already at 8. Fear Dan Petts, happy?
I think you're going to look at it as being, you know what, this quarter tied up so far, 6 minutes in the clock. There'll be frustration here because they've had some really good moments. The turnovers at half court, they'll definitely not be overly happy about. It's just looking after the ball that little bit better. And then we now see Kirsty Brown backing down Charlene again and getting some great success at the basket. And there's another turnover. The Gladiators full court defense really coming out strong. Brown looking for an extra pass, will she? Yeah, to Adams. DeMonge getting to the basket, floaters, goes up, doesn't get it to go. Delaney Byrne gathers it with 2 hands. Battle for the ball as it goes loose. And Windsay driving against Tia Adams straight to the basket, and she gets it to go. Nice and calmly done.
London just throwing a bit of a zone out there. Let's see if they match up the same again.
Brown cuts open, DeMonge extra pass, Tia Adams for 3, and it goes. Didn't give her any time for the Lions defence to set up there. Good ball movement.
And that's how you got to beat a zone. You either beat it up the court or you move the ball fast enough to open those gaps up.
Gladiators already up to 41 points in the game, just under 5 to go. Windsay gets the baseline. Tralin almost loses control of the ball, but gathers it again. Zier. Now Windsay backing down DeMonge. Undersized there, but good defensive stop by the Gladiators.
Undersized, but definitely not under-muscled.
Absolutely not. Tia Adams with the ball in hand. Flashed over court. Kenny McGee for 3 in the corner, doesn't go. A little bit lacking on the rebounding effort from the Gladiators there, and it's an easy foul call for Tia Adams.
And I feel when you're up against a zone, it can be much easier to crash in on those low boards, and they've done such a good job on the offensive boards as well. A little bit of tiredness potentially, or did they just take their eye off the ball?
Timeout called, 41 to 20. Good time if we're saying about tiredness, Rona.
And I think that's something, you know, Chantal Haney doesn't have to manage that the same. She can just bring players in and out, whereas maybe at London's end, when you've not got as many options off your bench, and you know you do have somebody like Macy Spinks who plays so much time, managing their load on the court is probably going to become more important.
And is it when you get to this part of the season where some teams will look to maybe shorten rotations, we see bigger minutes, but is it also then on the flip side of that, we look at Lions a bit short-handed tonight with no Omer Jones, for example, who plays a lot of minutes for him. Is it almost sometimes just who's available?
Yeah, I think a bit like we say, you can only play who's in front of you. You can only play the team that you've got. And that's what I mean. We don't know about loads in training. We don't know what's going on in practice. You know, where players are at with various things going on. So coaches will know that, and they'll be using that as much to their ability, because at the end of the day, a coach's job is to get the best out of their team as possible.
Absolutely, both teams turning to the floor. Reminder the score, a 21-point lead for the Gladiators, 41 to 20. Kirsty Brown up to 10 points. It's a Wednesday that leads for the Lions in 6. Kirsty Brown also top of the rebound so far with 5. And bench points for the Gladiators, 19 to the Lions 5.
And you can see why the Gladiators lead the league in those points off the bench.
So many options that they're trailing. Mid-range jumper doesn't go. Rebound for Alex McIntosh. She pushes the ball to Kerry McGee, and Rhea Harris charging down the floor looking for the ball. Double teamed as she goes in. Someone's going to be open somewhere, and Lions back into this zone defense, and Kerry McGee just takes her eye off the ball.
And And like I say, London do a good job of making sure they're not giving that an easy pin inside to whatever big it is that's flashing down into the post. So that's where Gladiators got to move the ball a bit more.
Spinks under constant pressure from Kerry McGee. She eventually finds Helen Tralene, who is trying to get a pass across court along the baseline, doesn't go, and Demonge off and running. McIntosh gets it to McGee, Ree Harris back out to McGee, who finds the foot of Esbrand as she looks to establish Ree Harris under the basket. And that's something London are going to a pretty good job of stopping.
They are, and that's what you just need to do with teams sometimes, take that sting out of tail. And Lions themselves, when they get out and running, they are fast.
Can the Gladiators break down the zone that the Lions have just crept into? McIntosh, high arcing three, doesn't go. Rebound goes all the way back to Demonge on the three. And Gladiators look to use some clock. 3.5 minutes remaining of the half. Ball somehow gets to Kerry McGee in the corner. Doesn't go. Who's getting the rebound? It's the Lions. Awunzi travels with it as you looked at the pressure from McCarrican and McIntosh there, forcing the turnover. And you see the frustration in Awunzi.
Yeah. She was unfortunate that she came down to McIntosh and to McGarrigan, but smart by both of them, not sticking the hands in, just trying to use their length.
Right, didn't he? Yeah. Bit lower scoring quarter for the Gladiators so far. Only 13 for them in. Harris double team, finds McIntosh under the basket, left hand. Is it going to drop? It's just stopped, is it?
I thought that might happen.
Wow. And that'll be.
Oh no, leave it.
Just see if it rolls in. Oh, the mock, even the floor cleaner didn't get a point there.
No.
And that'll be a Lions ball.
Had to have been impressed if he had, because they came through the hoop as opposed to from the side. That is one of those things you don't always see.
Quarter score, the Gladiators lead 13-10. The game score 41-20. Spinks gets past McGee, she drives to the heart. The Gladiators blocked by Ree Harris. Esbrand push off, and a referee calls the offensive foul on McIntosh as she takes that pretty hard in the chest.
That's a big few sets of plays there between the Ree Harris block and then it was returned by the Lions player, just taking no prisoners there and making sure if I've been given the charge, I'm going to make it
hard,
count.
yeah. Esbrand checks out on 3 fouls.
And that's probably the bigger story there, isn't it? Because she has been dynamite, getting around the court, making a nuisance of herself, so having to sit the remainder of this half, that's tough for Lions.
Demonge, corner 3. The Gladiators been putting the shots up now. Not getting that one to go either. McIntosh putting under pressure. But it's out to Essen, who will get over half court just in time. She picks up the ball though. Awunzi drives to her right on Demonge, loses the ball a little bit, it's bobbling around. That's a turnover for the Lions. And that's their 16th of the game, Rona. There's just a few of those careless mistakes. They're looking to play at speed. They just need to be a little bit more careful with the ball.
They do, and they tend to only average 24 turnovers a game, you know, so they're going to want to really tighten that up in the second half.
That zone really slowed down the Gladiators' offense. There's open corner shot for Demonge. They don't find it. They go inside to Harris, late clock. McGee for 3, doesn't go, another one doesn't go, but look at Harris getting that rebound under pressure, puts it in, and that's a great find for the Gladiators. She picks up her dribble step, and that's an easy call for the officials.
And Ree Harris is someone I've noticed whose offense generates her defense. She got a tough bucket there, and actually that then spurred her on. You see she went for the Ree Harris special of pretending she was running away and trying to intercept it, but it does cause the turnover anyway. Usually we say defense generates offense, but I feel she goes the opposite direction, against the grain.
Well, they look to establish Harris under the basket again. The ball's moving around. McCarrican to Demonge. Clock ticking down again. Mid-range, McCarrican cutting to the basket. She throws it up, does she? Doesn't go. Turnover there is a good defensive stop by the Lions, and Spinks running up the court.
And having caused a turnover, that's what they'll want, to make sure they didn't give up any more easy buckets.
Tralene into the corner. Awunzi for 3. It's on toes the line. It's only for 2. It doesn't go. Harris gathers the ball, looking for help. And the fill eventually comes from Trallin.
And she'd done such good work there, Trillian. You know, she was in the right place. She was putting Harris under pressure and then just sticking the hands in.
It was just almost as if the contact had been created. Referee hadn't called it, but then when she went for the reach, easy spot for referee Nasi. And will the Lions go back into this zone that's actually been pretty effective?
Yeah, they've definitely managed to slow down the Gladiators when they've needed to. They're making them take, you know, those corner threes that they're not having as much success with.
Quick pass, trying to get inside to Harris, doesn't go. Cut off by Zier, and the ball Essan out and running with the layup, doesn't go, and it's Robin Lewis who gathers it. Under pressure for Awunzi. She's going to go all the way to the basket. High off the arc, doesn't go, but look at Rhee Harris gathering with 2 hands and putting in a nice find. Rhee Harris up to 7 points. Awunzi drives past Kerr. She's got the open space. Bobbles round, doesn't go. Great offensive rebound. And it's a travel as Charlene just shuffles her feet.
Again, had done so much good work. And Harris is coming across, wanting the block. If there had been a travel, potentially could have got the foul there.
One of those ones, what happens first, the travel or the foul? 31 seconds remaining of the half. The Gladiators lead by 25, 45 to 20. At halftime, we'll be bringing you thoughts from inside the Gladiators camp. McIntosh got a bit of space. Mid-range for Harris, gets the goal.
Little shake and bake there, without the movement.
Late clock, well, the Lions get another shot before time expires. They do, and what a finish! Count that. The Lions scored on the last possession of the half. And we are at the half time. The Gladiators lead 47 to 22. As the Lions end on a high with that quick bucket. We're going to be joining courtside shortly with Rona with Donny, but an action-packed first half in which the Gladiators lead by 25. It's Kirsty Brown on 10 points. Awunzi with 6 for the visitors. Battle of rebounds. Matilda Mosley up to 5 along with Kirsty Brown. We look at some of the shooting percentages for the game. The Gladiators only 3 from 6 from the free throw line, whereas the Lions have converted on all 3 of their attempts. Turnovers though have been an issue for the Lions. They're on 18 to the Gladiators 6. Both teams on 5 steals, but it's the Gladiators out 5 blocks. In that first half, the Gladiators really established themselves in the paint. Points in the paint, 26. We saw that with looks from Delaney Byrne, Kirsty Brown and Rhee Harris. The Gladiators 19 points from turnovers to the Lions 0. The Gladiators also with 14 second chance points to the 2 of the Lions. And the biggest lead has been 27 that we saw just there before that Lions make. We're waiting at the table for Donny to get his stat sheets before they head to the half court. Table needs a faster printer, but we'll get there. We had issues on Friday for the men's game. Maybe we'll need to get Stuart running down with a new printer. But the Lions only going 8 deep to the word compared to the Gladiators going all 11 available players, with Emma Kerr knocking down that 3. She's on 5 points. McIntosh and McGee both on 1, as we talked about the young Scottish players at the start. And it doesn't look like we're going to have those interviews, it's going too long, but we'll join you in the second half. And we're back soon as the Gladiators lead 47 to 22. And we're back with just under 2 minutes to start the second half. A reminder of the score, it's 47 to the Gladiators and 22 to the Lions. And for both teams, Rona, if you're the Gladiators, you must be happy with your first half display.
I think you're happy with your first quarter display. I think maybe second quarter they won't be as happy with that. I think on the flip side, Lions, not happy with your first quarter display, but happy with your second. And that's how it goes. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams come out in the third. Lions, nice buzzer beater to finish the quarter.
Yeah, and they're getting some good looks at the basket. You can see the style of play they want to play. They want to play quiet. They want to get down the floor. It's just a little bit of clarity and cleaning up what they've got to do.
Yeah, and that's where Lions do struggle. And sometimes, that is from the experience. And, that will come with time. But they do sit, last at the league in the moment in field goal percentage, just over 32%. So they're not going to get the looks. That's maybe where they need to make sure they're tightened up at the defensive end, not allowing the Gladiators so many offensive rebounds. And also their own end, crashing in on them as well, and just cutting down the silly errors. We saw a travel at one point, just those little bits, ball fumbling them through our hands. But I think it'll come.
And I was talking when you were down the stairs, you look at some of the stats, Rona, you look at the amount of assists, the Gladiators moving the ball that a little bit cleaner. The number of blocks, the turnovers though for the Lions, 18, and that's just what we're saying there. Points in the paint, 26. The Gladiators, 26 points in the paint, shows a kind of clear understanding of what their game plan is.
It does, and that was actually a question I'd have asked. If I'd had somebody in halftime, I'd have said, you usually average about 20 assists a game. You're currently at 14. Is that pleasing?
And if I was Donny McDonagh, I'd say yes. Good to see the ball moving around and we're getting some good looks.
Oh, I think he would.
I know, he would get, that's my... Donny would give you a long-winded answer there, which probably means no.
Yeah. In coach speak, it means, are we ever happy?
Teams are back on the floor. Slight change to the starting lineups for this second half as McIntosh, McCarrick and McGee will see some early action in the third quarter. The referees are ready, the table's ready, the Gladiators are ready, and now the Lions are coming back onto the floor.
And the tunes are pumping, aren't they, Grant? I feel like you're into it.
The
I
playlist...
noticed how you left a sentence so you could drop it on the beat. I don't know if people at home have been...
The playlist and some music's going on today has been really good. I've enjoyed myself. A wee boogie here as we get the second half underway. Kirsty Brown backing down, trailing as we saw in the first half. Right-handed hook shot doesn't go. Battle for the rebound, back in the Gladiators. McGee calling the play on the second chance the Gladiators have to get opening score of this third quarter. It opens up at the basket and Kerry McGee gets her first field goal of the game.
Really nice, smart play there. If you're Lions, you think, okay, they're going to be cutting back inside. They're going to look for that mini jumper. But McGee, route one.
Ball cut inside. Handoff, nice play by the Lions, and they get it to go. A good ball movement from the London side. And a good start to this second half for both teams. Demonji getting under the basket. They look from McIntosh. Travel called. And that's where you saw her. She probably wanted to take that shot, but didn't just take it off.
I feel like she got caught in indecision as the ball was coming into her hands. She needed to release it straight away, then thought about it, and it's the minute you have to think like that, that's what then causes the mistakes.
Spikes with the ball in hand. She played over 17 minutes in that opening half. McCarrick comes for the trap, doesn't get it. Zier to the basket, blocked by Brown. And the Gladiators off and running. McGee just wondering where Awunzi was there. Checks back out, slowing it down. Mismatch inside. Kirsty Brown under the basket with the mismatch. And she gets converted to another two. Lions just getting it over in time. With Esbrand on the court. She's on 3 fouls so far during this game.
And so much of what Lions have been doing today, she's been a key part of, so good for them to have her on the floor.
Gets the floor to the goal. Esbrand averages just under 10 points a game this season. They really need her contribution to stay in this game. Gladiators' lead still remains 25. McIntosh drives into trouble. Jump ball.
That's really nice work by the Lions. I do like what they've been doing in that low block, and you just think that could maybe be a little fake pass in there, because you can see that the Lions are in there and set. Wasn't many more options for McIntosh.
I almost think that wasn't really the play for her to get that ball. It was almost she was just running through to create space for everyone else, and Demonge throws the ball at her.
And she's not got quite the same height as maybe someone else coming through to get the ball over.
Awunzi gets through the double team there. Nice play there by the Lions. Awunzi ball in hands again, and it's back to Spinks. Backdoor cut, Esbrand under the basket, doesn't get it to go, and it's McIntosh with the rebound. Ball just getting over Awunzi. Corner, options open for a big block by Awunzi. Chases down the block, shuts down McGee, looking to get the 3-ball off the Lions bench. Certainly enjoyed that one.
And what a block that was indeed, you know. Almost down the corridor and into the practice court.
Hard screen by Brown as Demonge gets rounded. She gets to the basket and one! Demonge getting all the way to the basket. Draws the foul, and she'll go to the free-throw line for the bonus shot.
And that's how you have to respond in that situation. It'll also be interesting to see how McGee comes out of that situation. You just have to leave it. You know, just like if you score a nice basket, you have to just move on to the next play.
Demonge knocks down the bonus shot. Pushes the lead to 28 for the Gladiators, the old-fashioned way, and it's a turnover, and it's not. McGee deflected it out of bounds. No complaints from the Gladiators there. Spinks crosses over McGee. The key opens up and doesn't get it to go, and battling. McCarrigan again gathers the loose ball. McGee pushing the ball in the tempo as she tries to get to the heart of the Lions. It's almost a turnover at half court, and it is. Can the Lions keep it in bound? But it's back with the Gladiators. And McGee has the ball. Demonge calmly throws it to McCarrigan with the off-balance hook shot. Doesn't get it going. She airballs the shot. And it's the Lions with the control now. Esbrand looking to open up. She backs off, spins, pulls off the two. Doesn't go. McIntosh up and under, hitting the arm by Awunzi. Great find from Demonge, and McIntosh will go to the line once again for another 2 shots.
That pass from Demonge was a chef's kiss. You could see her see it, and not every player can make that pass. The reason for anyone watching this at home that looks easy is because she's a high-quality player.
McIntosh short on our first attempt. Second
Sorry,
shot
I thought it was a
coming.
glitch in the matrix
I know,
there.
the brain stopped working there. She converts the second. That's what she did the first time round. Missed the first, makes the second.
I always think missing your first makes it really simple to adjust. Sometimes if it leaves your hand funny and it still goes in, you're kind of thrown for that second one.
6 minutes 40 on the clock. Esan with the ball. Shot clock didn't start. Referees put 19 seconds on the shot clock. 6 minutes 35. Gladiators 55 to the Lions 26. And the Lions just get it inbound in time. Harrison driving into traffic. She's fouled by, I think, Demonge. Oh, it's called on, I think, Terry McGee. Yep, 27. And Coach Handy is given her warning by Chris Curl. And now it's on to the other referee to get an earful as well. Esbrand dribbling against the Monchi, gets a bit of space, but turns it over, does she? Diving on the floor. Lions rushing the shot there, still had time on the clock, Rona.
I thought they did as well, and I actually quickly checked the clock as it went up, and there was still 6 on the clock. But you know, maybe he was feeling it.
Hands as the turnover by the Lions. As McGee picks up the foul to slow down the Lions. And it's got all of a sudden a bit messy.
I think that was smart play there by McGee, just to slow it down, but I do think it's become a little bit stop-start. And I think, you know, teams looking to get a good set, but then just not being clinical enough at that final shot.
As time on the floor, the London Lions take their first time out of the quarter. And I think that timeout is needed for the game to just kind of catch your breath. It's been a bit, as you just said, hectic, a bit out of control. The game score for this quarter is only 8-4. And if you're the Gladiators now, you're just looking to clear it up. There's been a few too many turnovers to start this kind of second half.
Yeah, and I potentially think we'll see some substitutions coming in off the back of this timeout. I feel, you know, Coach Handy looks frustrated down there, but I think maybe as well with how your players are performing on court, and maybe want to change a couple of things up. Over at the Lions side, you know, you've looked at a couple of players who are sitting on free fouls, are currently on the floor. MD's obviously checked back in. She's going to want to be doing some good solid stuff when she gets the ball. But overall, I feel like the game just feels a little bit stuttery at the moment, and it needs somebody or one team to take it by the scruff of the neck and really put their stamp on it again. It is almost a 30-point game, but you don't want complacency to stay in.
And we look at highlights, we see it. Lindsay's blocked there and McGee threes. And that's just a standout player, but actually the Lions defense is doing pretty well.
It has, but they were just unfortunate that Dominic then created an and 1 situation out of that. Usually you'd want to come out of that and you'd want to get the full stop as well and go up the other end. And we do see Kerr, Lewis, Adams and Byrne all check in at that Gladiators end.
Lions with the ball, trying to cut down this lead. Essen round the screen, trailing an extra pass out into the corner, off the side of the basket. The clock doesn't reset and it's out of bounds and it'll become a Gladiators ball.
I think she saw Delaney Byrne swinging out there and released it so quickly that maybe not quite as on target as she'd like it to be.
Looked rushed, yeah, with a 6-foot Byrne really thrown out there as Taya Adams handling the ball. Gladiators really trying to set up a play now to get some of the scoreboard moving, but it's Taya Adams driving inside, knocked free, and it'll stay with the Gladiators. I don't think Taya Adams was sure what way that was going to go.
No, I feel like her face was like, good, we're keeping it.
Yeah. Delaney Byrne steps out, Kirsty Brown, 2 players on her back. And she was now trapped by 3, late clock, and it expires. Great defensive stop by the Lions, and you can see what that means to their bench. Yes, the game's 29 points, but it's a learning for them.
It is, and you know, the last time out that these two teams met, Gladiators really turned it on in that second half, and at the moment, Lions aren't allowing them to do that. And you know, when they went down last time, it was that 67-point differential, so they're looking to close these gaps as much as possible.
Yeah, the last time these two teams faced, it was 99 points to 32, the Gladiators won. The Gladiators struggling to get the scoreboard moving in this second half, and so are the Lions, as it's only 8-4. Kirsty Brown checks out. Rhea Harris returns to the game. Picks up the dribble again. MJ looking for a pass. It ends up with the Gladiators, and we look at a turnover from Taya Adams. As they get to the basket, I was about to say for an easy layup, but it's Taya Adams makes up for the error. And she's going to go coast to coast with a pass to Rhea Harris. Fakes the shot, spins left, spins right. Emma Kerr back to Taya Adams, and she'll take the 3 this time. And it drops. And that's the experience of Taya Adams showing her international quality there. A mistake down the other end with a bad pass. Gets the defensive stop and then gets the 3. Essen up against Robin Lewis. She again picks up the ball. MJ passes back to Esbrand. Late clock, can she get to the basket? Esbrand, tough ball, what a block by Ree Harris on the shot clock. And it's going to be a shot clock violation. The help defense from Ree Harris to block Esbrand as the basket. And the ball goes to the Gladiators. Seen a couple of monster blocks in this game, Rona.
I'm here for it.
Thinking it's a bit of volleyball in here tonight. Lewis thinks the baseline's open, pulls back out. And they feed it into Ree Harris, hands it back. Oh, she tried to pass it to Byrne before Byrne had the ball, but it's a quick three, and that's nothing but net. And a quick timeout by the Lions coach as the score extends past, the lead extends past the 30-point margin, and it's 61-26.
I think head coach Dan Pett's, been forced into his second timeout in this third quarter, but I think, he's going to want to see a reaction from his players. You've seen it in other games. You're using that timeout early, you're showing them you mean business, and you're invested in this game, so you want them to go out, and how are they going to respond to this? We've obviously seen Spink sitting on the bench at the moment, and Lions are doing good work. It's just about stringing together a good defensive stop into a good offensive set, and vice versa.
But since we had that last timeout, only about 2 minutes ago, Rhoda, the score has gone from the quarter, it was 8-4, it's now 14-4. So the Gladiators just got a bit of momentum off those two threes.
They have, and that's where they can be so dangerous. And Lions are doing well at taking care of the inside, but that doesn't mean the outside can stop working as well.
The buzzer goes, both teams will return to the floor any second now. 4 minutes on the clock for this third quarter, 61-26.
Gladiators, head coach Handy has trained this squad, how she's worked with the group of players, that they're all confident, they can all come on, they can all knock down buckets, and you can rotate on whoever you need to, and they're going to perform.
And we've not seen much of Kat Tudor since that first quarter. She did take a little knock. Is that probably something that they're just going to hold them back? Don't really need to risk an important player?
I would say that. I mean, you've got a run of games. Both teams have a run of games in. Lions don't want to afford anyone else an injury either, so I think if we saw any knocks on the other end, they'd probably look to rest that player too.
Baseline opens as Zier gets to the basket. Delaney Byrne losing a defender, losing her attacker. So the Gladiators trying to quickly get it down the floor. They establish Ree Harris once again. Oh, fine for Delaney Byrne, cutting to the basket. Ree Harris with the pass.
You see Ree Harris was wanting care off that first cut, knew it wasn't the right look. Delaney Byrne knew her pal was looking, cut right through.
Just saw her scanning the court for any options as then Delaney Byrne got the mental signal to go. Drive S into the basket, loses it off the defence, but a good rebound as the Gladiators out and running. Robin Lewis pushing the tempo. Ree Harris, hands all over.
Oren Benji obviously recently committed, so we'll be back at London next week, and I would say that was a smart play there if that's what she intended, to stop it before Harris even got a chance to turn and look at it.
Oren Beja, the young line up against the vast experience of Ree Harris. Gets good height up there, but Ree Harris just gets over her. And we just see the injection of pace when Ree Harris is on the floor. Delaney Byrne just getting a little bit too close there to Zier as the foul's called. I was waiting to see if Ree Harris was going to wind up for a block there. That's why I delayed there.
Sometimes you can just sense a block coming, and even that in itself is enough to put somebody off.
That put me off, that's for sure. The Gladiators lead now, 65-28, just under 3 minutes on the quarter clock. As that first free throw is way off the mark. Battle for the rebounds, but it's with the Delaney Byrne. Delaney Byrne slowly going about an impressive night. 14 points, 5 rebounds and 3 assists, sorry. Kerr getting her feet set behind the free-throw line, doesn't get it to go. Battle for the rebound, and it'll stay with the Gladiators.
Good court awareness there by Kerr, ensuring though, got round, got her feet behind. Doesn't get the tray, but you know, smart.
The Lions look to be creeping into this zone again. Well, the Gladiators get the ball moving. Delaney Byrne will go, you know what, I'll just score, or shoot, sorry, but it's look at Ree Harris just fighting under pressure, and it's Robin Lewis, the shortest player in the court, gathering the ball. To Adams, great hands by Zier, and it's Winsey all the way to the basket. An easy layup, nice finish.
Usually that's Adams' bread and butter there. Great fast hands by Lions.
Coach Petts really calling to his team on this zone. As 3 players surround Harris, she gets her pass out. Kerr in the corner for free, and that doesn't go. And it's, who is it again? Ree Harris battling for the ball, and it stays in play. Robin Lewis, opposite corner now. Doesn't go, who's it again? It's a Gladiator rebound show tonight. Byrne doesn't make it and gets the foul. And the Lions zone may be working, but they're not getting these rebounds.
And that's interesting, because that's kind of the opposite of what we saw in the latter part of that second quarter, where Gladiators weren't looking to get their own boards, and it was allowing the Lions to come up with them. So they've obviously regrouped and reset on that, and they've rewarded themselves with a trip to the line. You'd hope to get some buckets here.
Delaney Byrne knocks down the first. 89% for the season from the throw line is Delaney Byrne. And misses the second. And it goes to the Lions. Ree Harris doing her best job to convince referee Chris Curl. Zier putting her head down, almost turning it over, but it's in the, does turn it over, it's in the hands of Emma Kerr. T. Adams gets some space, open under the basket, and it gets the draw. Gladiators out, full court. Slow down the Lions. Knocked free by T. Adams.
And if Lions could just harness that speed when they're going downhill like that, but then they just bail the ball out, not necessarily to anyone in particular, but just trying to pass it off to another player. If they could harness that, you know, that would cut down their turnovers.
Yeah, they play at such a nice high tempo, but it's just that clouded by a young squad. Orun Beja to the basket, but doesn't. Gets the whistle against her, takes an extra step.
And that's something these younger players, you know, they'll learn how to harness their speed and power. I never had that problem. I didn't have much speed and power. So, you know, I don't really know how that feels like, to be like, oh, how do I jump a little bit less aggressively? But, you know, I am sure that is something they will build on, and that's what's going to develop them as players down the line.
We're a minute away from the end of the third quarter. The Gladiators, though, a slow start to this quarter. Push the lead to 38. They look to establish. Ree Harris out to T. Adams. Extra pass to Delaney Byrne in the corner, and she makes that 3 count. And the Gladiators up to 71.
Delaney Byrne is deadly at the moment from that 3-point land.
Ball's thrown up. Lions trying to get the ball flying around. Esperan drives inside against T. Adams. Orun Beja looking for an extra pass. Someone's looking for someone in the corner. No one's there, so
I was actually forced there to sit forward and miss Grant, because I thought, is there a player I've missed in that?
And Winsey driven inside from the corner towards the basket, and it forces a turnover.
I think that counts as a sit-up.
As a
Sitting
what?
forward. I think that's almost like a sit-up.
Hey, if it counts for the gym, it counts for the gym. The Lions up to 23 turnovers. Cutting Delaney Byrne under the basket, and it drops. Delaney Byrne, she's now up to 20 points in this game. 6 rebounds for the young American. Orun Beja hands it back to Winsey. Late in the clock again. We saw how the Lions ended this half. Can Zier get a great hands by Emma Kerr, and that stops the game clock. And that's the end of the third quarter. The Gladiators, after a slow start, extend their lead to 43, 73 to 30 here at Play Sport. And it's the Gladiators, defense on top, keeping their opponents to only 8 points.
And I think that's probably tell Handy that's the most pleasing thing. That's the lowest scoring quarter for the Gladiators, and I think you want to come out and make your mark after a sort of more hesitant second quarter. Head coach Dan Petts, you know, he's going to have lots of messages to put across his team, but I think it's just being more confident when you've got the ball in your hand. You can see that they have got the skills. They can get themselves to the basket, just trying to get it finished. When they're in that zone, they're working efficiently. It's just then securing the ball on the rebound.
And let's look at some game stats. The Gladiators, 61 shot attempts, 49% they're scoring. They're 30% from three, only 54% from the free throw line. Turnovers though, the Gladiators on 11 compared to the 24 of the Lions. That's them already at their kind of game average for the season, Rona.
It is, and that's the pressure they're under at the moment, and not having those other experienced players who are out through injury for the Lions. You're then not being able to stretch the defence the same. You're maybe not getting the same defensive stops, because when Lions are able to get the defensive stops, they're not allowing Gladiators to set up that press that has become synonymous with this team. That high intensity, the high hedges, they've got to give Spinks a few options, you know, to give her the dish. And the noise in here, Grant, it's loud.
It's loud. You can see they've opened up both sides, and it's always, I always feel like it's great when both sides are open. Yeah, maybe the other side could look fuller, but when you've got both sides open, the atmosphere just kind of carries around the whole hall.
It disperses itself more evenly, doesn't it?
That's big words. The arrow stays with the Gladiators.
I feel Des Clark down there is right into this game.
He's loving it. I mean,
I wonder if he's like that when he's on the radio.
I don't know. Are you? I do tend to sometimes listen to Heart Radio. Are you a Heart in the morning sometimes?
I don't want to say where my loyalties lie when it comes to. Actually, at the moment, I am in the night garden in the morning or Teletubby playlist.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Wow.
That gets me right fired up for school, I tell you. Nothing like a bit of old MacDonald had a farm.
Hey, whatever works for you, Rhoda, to get yourself in the mood for the day.
Yeah, I don't even have a child in the car.
Kirsty Brown under the basket, doesn't get the first one to drop. It's a battle for the rebounds again, but it's Kerry McGee. A reminder, the score 73-30. The Gladiators lead by 43. And we're into the final quarter of this game. Robin Lewis gets the tee up, and it's another opportunity to score for the Gladiators. Kirsty Brown somehow gets the ball out there. And it's a third opportunity for the Gladiators to get something going. Bata Orinbeja over the back of Kirsty Brown.
Really nice deep seal there by Brown, because time was ticking down, so she wouldn't have a huge amount of time to go to work down there, but when you put position like that, she's obviously drawn the foul, but if the ball had got into her hands, much easier little hook shot there for her.
Actually, I've been really impressed by her defensive effort. Like, young player up against a really experienced player in the league and an international as well. It's a great battle, great learning opportunity for the young Lions player.
And the thing is, this is what teams want. They want these programs. We've seen the Caledonia Blues announced on top of the academy. So, you know, this is what you want. And with the Lions, you want to be bringing through those players so that you're always going to have that core team. Players will go away, they'll come back, and that's what you want to build your culture on.
Gladiators almost get it inbound, but it's knocked out by Zier. Lions done a pretty good job of defending those inbound plays. McIntosh open the corner, no delay that time, doesn't get it to go, but it's McGee gathering the rebound. Lewis into Kirsty Brown. It's a quick foul on the floor. Orinbeja, that's her third foul of the game. Not letting Kirsty Brown establish herself under the basket.
She's not letting her establish herself, but she's got to find another way to do that as well. And then the people out on the wing, they've got to do a good job of not allowing that pass in.
McGee this time in the corner from the Robin Lewis inbound. Alex McIntosh looking for her options. Doesn't move round, it keeps moving round. McCarrican. Three players round there. Will there be an extra pass? Someone. Late clock. Will Kirsty Brown get off in time? Hook shot comes. Doesn't touch anything. And Ron, if we look at some other scores in the SLB today, Auckland Wolves against the Sheffield Hatters. Auckland lead 61-50 as they 61-52 now as they near the end of the third quarter. Big game in what the makeshift of this season looks like. And just down in Nottingham as Nottingham take on Durham, it's 25-17 the Wildcats lead.
Both very interesting matchups, opposite ends of the table, but both with big ramifications for whoever takes the win.
McGee gets herself to the basket for the layup off the foul from Kirsty Brown. And you're talking about ramifications there, Rona, as this game, as we push into a 45-point lead for the Gladiators. It's a really tight battle. A big game today as the Hatters really need to get the win over the Wolves. But you look at the playoffs, the Gladiators trying to do battle to try and get that top 4.
They are, and I think, yep, at the top of the league, if Hatters take the win, that would then put them on equal losses with the Wolves. It doesn't mean the league's over even if the Wolves do take the win, but that would be a really big chunk out of the Wolves. Title championship pushes, but also, like you say, I think 3 through 5 is also a really interesting battle. Newcastle looking like they potentially will solidify in at third. Head coach Chloe Gaynor taking over. What a job she's done.
You can just tell that whole squad are just playing for her. Absolutely enjoying their basketball. Every player stepping up, and even now Chloe Gaynor not having to take to the floor as often to get her impact across.
Don't think she's taken to the floor, has she, since?
Definitely once did.
Once. She stepped across, but you know, like you say, it's not something that she's doing, and when it is, it's probably got reasoning behind it. But I think also at the bottom end of the table, fighting for the playoff spots, I think there's 2-3 teams in contention. Cardiff have just come alive in this second half of the season. I'd be really interested to know how many players Coach Collins is looking to try and retain, because they seem to have something going at the moment.
Yeah, they had a tight game against the Wolves yesterday, almost causing an upset. But the league leaders got the W.
They did. I put it out there. I was like, would this be the upset of the season?
McCarrican knocks down the second.
Oh, referee giving a little bit unintentional help there. Keep the ball in play.
Ball picked up. Can the Lions find the pass? They do. Awunzi driving against McIntosh. Ball's bobbling around. It's in the hands of Tia Adams. And Esan takes the foul.
Adams, to an extent, reminds me of Ramsey of the Gladiators men's team. Can have such a low ball handling height that it just can make it so impossible. When you saw the way she just had that little double bounce to secure the ball. And I'm like, when someone's dribbling that low, that is hard to get down there and match. And if Nottingham were to take the win against Durham as well, that would maybe help Nottingham, but be tight on Durham.
McCarrican open under the basket. And that's what Durham point wants that win, because that would put them level of Essex and the Riders in 7 wins.
There's another team, Riders. How up and down have they been this season?
Yeah, change of players as the season's progressed.
Injuries as well.
Injuries, yes. You're almost on turnover again. Adams knocking the ball, and that's an unsportsmanlike on Essen. The last time she just put her hand in, there was a slight grab of McGee.
I was going to say no harm, no foul, but there was no harm, but was a foul. And that's why they then call that unintentional.
Yeah, absolutely. Kerry McGee will go to the free-throw line. And one of the Gladiators, they're sitting currently in 5th place. 4th, even 3rd place still an option. But what they need to just make sure they just keep the winning feeling coming.
They do, and that comes from, you know, everybody in the bench feeling bought in, and that means everybody, you know, when they hit the floor, like I say, they're contributing. And I think we've seen that from the pre-season games right through to now. And I think this Gladiators team have proven as well, they can turn up in the big moments. They turned up in the trophy final. They took home the first silverware of the season, when I'm sure a lot of people might have thought that was going to be our Wolves. They were undefeated at that point.
Brown backing down Trallin. She gets over. Great defensive stop by the Lions, forcing the turnover. Awunzi gets the ball back into Spinks. Zier driving into her right, goes to her left, looks to dribble out, but blocked by McCarrican, and Tia Adams going the length of the floor. Doesn't make it, and who's there to gather it? It's Eddie McCarrican, and there it will be Coach Pett's 3rd and final timeout of this half.
He loves a 6-minute timeout, or like a sort of 4-minute deep into the quarter timeout. So
And I suppose the game's kind of gone his path. He's trying to get his messages across. The Gladiators have gone on a bit of a scoring run with a couple of stops. The Lions are still scoreless for this quarter, and that's something we'll be looking to end.
It will be, and their offense does seem to be drying up as the game goes along. So that can be heads going down, that can be tiredness, and poor execution tend to go hand in hand. So you'll be looking just to inject a bit of motivation back into, a bit of enthusiasm, a bit of self-belief as well. Like you say, very young squad out there. So, you know, they've not maybe been in these situations, they've not been potentially up to play at the amphitheatre, where you've got the lights, the crowd, the noise. They're playing out at Barking Abbey at the moment, and I actually found out that the only time they are on the Barking Abbey floor is when they're playing there. So, you know, that is basically an away game to them as well when they're down there. I think they maybe train 3 times a week at the moment. Gladiators are probably on the floor 3 times a day, you know, in one day. So there's lots of the imbalances there potentially, and you're just wanting, like I say, it's all about getting the best out of your players. You'll get the best out of your players when they trust you, when they're listening to you, and when they're bought in. A bit like we've talked about at Newcastle with Chloe Gaynor.
Absolutely. The players are back on the floor. 6 minutes 20 in the clock. And Rona, Eurobasket for the women is only 80 days away. The British team qualified pretty well. They've had a pretty good couple of last windows, a couple of Gladiators players there. Tough group for them. They've got Germany, Sweden and Spain. Spain ranked 5th in the world. Germany ranked 13th. It's going to be a hard challenge for them for sure.
It's going to be, and I thought it was quite interesting how many of, nice take, but yeah, gets that call. I think what was really interesting there is how many of the teams match across the men's and the women's, because they're both coming up against Sweden, is that right?
Yeah.
So that'll be quite interesting.
And I think I was doing some reading on the Eurobasket website for the tournament today. Go check it out. Their kind of power rankings has GB low at 14th out of the 16-team competition. We've seen that before. GB Spring many an upset in the women's game, and they'll be trying to do that. But they're going to have to look for that 3rd, 4th option behind Temi and Holly.
They are, and I was going to say exactly that. It's interesting because who is going to be the women's Eurobasket team? I think that's still very open, and who knows who's actually going to come up. Whereas I feel like in previous Eurobaskets you were a bit more confirmed of who was going to be sort of that 7-8 players. But how great to be at that Eurobasket finals when you are in a sort of transitionary period, bringing in younger players. Sam Ashby's been brought in. So I think it's going to be an exciting summer. Men as well, both coming up against Germany. So it's funny, isn't it, how 2 of the teams are across both.
It's going to be interesting because the last couple of windows for the women, you've seen like Bo Frost, Oakland's young 16, 17-year-old. You've seen Katie Janoveska from the Riders go. Kerry McGee went to camp as well last time. Opportunities for these young players to get there. And it'll be interesting to see if those opportunities continue into the tournament, or will we see a couple of the experienced players come back.
Sheridan Green obviously was back getting minutes as well. You know, I really enjoy watching her play. I think she can be a real force as well.
And then you wonder if does someone like a Carly Samuelson, will she dress up for GB again, or been in a major tournament? So we'll need to wait and see. Kirsty Brown going, running the floor. Pass doesn't land in her hands.
And what I think for Dan Pettis is really good out there is just Spinks and the leadership. You know, recently returned from college, still a younger player, but really making sure, you know, in that point guard position, making sure people know what they're doing, taking control of that. And I mean, she's got a long time left in this game.
Under 5 minutes to go in the game, 84-31. The Lions on 5 team fouls, and there's almost another turnover at half court. But Winsey getting a step on Taya Adams, late in the clock. Trallin gets it off. No, she doesn't. 24-second violation forced by the Gladiators on defense there. Winsey checks out the game. Harris asking why the travel call, explained by the referee, nod of acceptance.
I was going to be like, because she moved her feet before the ball was on the floor. Quite the weekend of basketball at PlaySport, hasn't it, Grant?
Yeah, loads of action going on the last couple of weekends here. It's great to see the kind of whole Scottish basketball community coming to what is the only kind of purpose-built basketball facility in Scotland, so it's great to see those partnerships happening. Some tremendous games over the last couple of weeks.
It has been, and obviously I think it's the Chairwomen's Cup final after this one as well. So
yeah, a late night for some. Players going to gather for that. I think that's a 6:30, 7 o'clock start.
Yeah, 6:30 I think it was. You obviously had the Gladiators under-18 women's team. They were in the playoff final earlier. It was won by Blaze. Congratulations to them. But great to see the youth as well getting out there and making a show of themselves.
Yeah, it was great. I think last weekend was like the under-14s and 12s. There's been all the age groups happening as Alex McIntosh unleashes a three in the corner, doesn't drop. As a turnover at mid-court as Esperan loses the dribble. Slight Euro step there by McIntosh. She's trying to force herself to the basket, and great to see that confidence getting to the line.
I like that. Almost a 1v2 situation. She was getting back up down that left wing, but that's that confidence, isn't it? And with McIntosh and McGee, with the contracts they're on, with the tie-in with the university, they're going to be here a few years, and you want them to be contributing more and more as this goes on.
McIntosh knocks down the first.
And we all know just how important continuity is. So how many of this squad will be returning for both sides? Because, the more players you return, the better a start point you begin from. Because you're not teaching people all new sets, plays, systems.
Yeah, you've already got some of those relationships already established as Alex McIntosh knocks down both of those free throws. Gladiators up to 86. The Lions up to 31. Esperan battling against Tay Adams. Great help defense there by Emma Kerr. Esperan battling hard. Lions not moving the ball this second half as well. And it's Ree Harris gathering the rebound.
Nice box out by her. I like that box and walk.
McIntosh, baseline opens up. She gets underneath. Foul called as she forced MJ into the air there.
Didn't need, but I feel MJ, better second half from her. Being more deliberate in what she does. Being more secure with the ball. Positives.
Yeah, just a little bit more control and doesn't seem as panicked. McIntosh doesn't get this one, the first one this time to drop.
The way that came through in my audio, it sounded as if one person in here clapped.
I know, I know.
Just the one
person clapped. And gets the second to go. Alex McIntosh doing the business from the free throw line. All 5 of her points have come from the line. Travel for the Lions, another turnover. That's their 32nd turnover of the game. The Gladiators only on 14.
And that's tough for a team, when you're turning the ball over that often, trying to recover from that. But I think we've seen some of Gladiators' best defensive work as well today. I feel Tay Adams' feet, they have been moving all over that floor and her hands have been active.
Emma Kerr looking to find Ree Harris, doesn't get the pass to connect. Esan gathers the ball. Dribbles it off the back of Tay Adams' heel, but it's a turnover and it's Ree Harris, open court. Goes for the layup. An easy finish for number 32 for the Gladiators. Forces the Lions to pick it up. Will they get it across the half-court line? They do with a second spare. A big hedge from Delaney Byrne. Spikes open into the corner. MJ goes to the baseline. Great defensive pressure from Ree Harris, using her body well, leaving the young Lion with no space to go.
Talking about the turnovers, that is something Gladiators do so well. Second in the league, 22 turnovers they average, forcing other teams into. So they'll be delighted with that performance defensively today.
Miscommunication from the Gladiators there. Emma Kerr losing the pass from Tay Adams. 2 minutes and 5 on the clock. Lions still only with the 1 point to show for their efforts in this final 10 minutes. Only 9 points in the second half. Oren Beja calling for help. Esperan gets the ball. And Rona, we're getting to that stage of the game where we maybe look towards who our player of the game might be.
Oh, I saw Harris coming across there and I held my breath.
So yeah, any idea who player of the game so far for you?
I feel like Byrne has been instrumental. I think McGarrigan's put up good numbers as well. But for me, I think Byrne offensively has had a great day.
Harris doing a great job of keeping her pivots alive. Delaney Byrne, as I mentioned, goes for the offensive rebound, doesn't get the bucket to drop.
20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 steals for Byrne.
Foul called on Emma Kerr. Lions will go to the line. 20 points, as you said, for Delaney Byrne. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. And the 1 block, plus minus of 35 and an index of 29. It's pretty impressive afternoon work.
I think that's a pretty good Mother's Day out. If anyone's watching back home for Delaney, I'm sure they'll be delighted for her.
And Winsey doesn't get the free throw to drop. And the second one doesn't go. The Gladiators get out and running as this game comes to a head. Forces the pass inside. Lions need to make sure they take the ball with them.
Kirsty Brown's also had herself an afternoon.
Ran for 3. The Lions.
Quite double-double for Kirsty Brown, 12 and 11. Someone as well, I think, who's really grown in this second half of the season, especially offensively.
And it's a turnover, is it, there by T. Adams? No, the ball's just dislodged by Winsey. Back across the line, 8 seconds on the shot clock. And Winsey into the screen by Delaney Byrne. T. Adams for 3, and it goes. T. Adams up to 15 points. Defensively showing her quality, but quietly going about her efforts on the offensive end as this game ticks on by. Ball bobbles out of bounds. A minute to go, 30 seconds on the clock. It's 92 to 34. The Lions have beaten their score from the last time these teams met. The Gladiators have scored 7 less. Esbrand to the basket, stops, pops, gets the goal as she racks up her 5th point in a row for the Lions. Esbrand up to 9. McIntosh, open 3, quick catch, shoot. Doesn't go. Battle for the rebound. Harris doesn't get it. And with 10 seconds to go, it's a Lions ball. A 56-point margin as T. Adams strips the ball, knocks it out of bounds. 5.8 on the clock.
Both teams, fighting to the end. I like that.
And when every point does matter, it's good to see. And Delaney Byrne looking for that ball for the force 3 at the end. The ball balling around. Winsey trying to get it off. Blocked by T. Adams. Not allowing an open shot.
She was like, you are not finishing the afternoon with a bucket.
They're not letting that score. And there we have it. The home team, the Caledonia Gladiators, knock up another win. 92 to 36 here at PlaySport this afternoon. Rona's going to be courtside for our post-game reaction, but yeah, tremendous victory for the Gladiators, keeping the Lions to only 6 points in that final quarter, and only to 14 points in the second half as the Gladiators coming in top. Delaney Byrne leads all scoring with 20 points for the Gladiators. It's our colleague Kirsty Brown, who has a tidy double-double again with 11 points. Delaney Byrne 1 rebound short of a double-double. T. Adams though, 13 and 7 with 7 assists. It's the turnovers though, the problem for the Lions with 34 to the 17 of the Gladiators. The Gladiators on the road next week. Not home again till the 20th of April when the for which will be their final regular season home game here at PlaySport for the season before the playoffs start. Delaney Byrne, our game day MVP, 20 points, 9 rebounds, and she's courtside now with Rona.
Delaney, 29, 3 and 4. Quite a stat line. How was that for you today?
I mean, it's a team effort. I think collectively we played great ball movement. We got a little stagnant when they went into that zone, but I think overall we responded really well, and great performance, I think, through 4 quarters.
Yeah, and you mentioned the zone. It did get a little bit sticky then. Coach Andy, did she have a few choice words with you all?
I think, well, we already kind of knew what we needed to do. We talked about it in the locker room and just making sure that we prioritized our ball movement and being able to put ourselves in positions where we knew that kind of gaps were going to be, but we know how to play it. I think we just need to adjust quicker and recognize that change sooner.
And that 3 ball, it was draining today. Were you feeling it?
It helps. It helps to get it going early, and it helps to get good looks, and when my teammates know how to find me early, it definitely helps.
Well, awesome game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will hand you back over to Grant.
And there we have it, 92-36, the Gladiators with the victory. Delaney Byrne, our game day MVP. And from everyone here, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the broadcast.